Hey, what's up guys? UrAvgWarGamer is back with another video of World of Warships. And in this video, I'm going to be featuring Tier 10 Premium Coal German aircraft carrier, and that is Max Immelmann. Now Max Immelmann is interesting because of these fast planes having 242 knots of speed, and it has access to skip bombers and also torpedo bombers. But to cut it short, Max Immelmann have only 2 armaments, and the skip bombers basically skip on a particular ship and they deal decent damage. I mean, the damage output is pretty good since you have so many skips. Like you can actually able to bypass some of the AA, and also their damage is pretty good as well, and against heavy targets like battleships they are going to be very effective. I'm going to talk about some of the tips and tricks, or basically some of the tactics that you should use if you want to play good Max Immelmann gameplay. Now here in this case, as you can see, what I did here, like to drop on a single Yamato, which is around Atatara and Sherman, try to use these skips for your advantage so that you can actually bypass some of the mid AA aura, and this would help a lot in saving or tanking some of the HP that you needed. And in this case, that's what I'm exactly doing against Yamato, trying to do significant damage with these skip bombers. And well, he actually damage controlled the fire, and now he has a permanent fire, which you should absolutely not do. But this is how effectively you can get a lot of damage over time against battleships, because Max Immelmann is actually very good at it. Now I'm gonna be talking about torpedo bombers. Now torpedo bombers, again, they have limited in terms of the ability to basically strike on, like against destroyers. Like you can't do much about it. Like these torpedo bombers are not going to have a good chance of hitting them because they are slow, unlike the Richthofen, which are pretty good against destroyers. But here in this case, they have a decent arming distance, by the way. But again, I mean, right now I just spotted the Shimakaze in the middle of nowhere. And what you can actually do, that in this case, I'm actually gonna try to basically ask the Sherman, which has a drop 5 kilometer hydro, to basically spot the Shimakaze. And now in this case, he kinda not expected that the Sherman will pop the hydro, and he's trying to reverse again. He's thinking that he is just fine, like there might be a radar or something and it will go down. But eventually now he will realize the Sherman actually started to farm him, and he slowed down again. And this is what you should absolutely not do. The critical mistake that Shimakaze does. If I spot him, he should not try to basically get the cap, but he did it regardless. But well, there's nothing that I can do about it. He just simply threw his ship away. But anyways, talking about the torpedo bombers again, they are best to be used against like battleships and heavy cruisers. And skip bombers are also pretty good in that regard, because if you set fires, you can come up with torpedo bombers to get flood, and if you get flood, you will actually get fires. So this is how you can actually able to get the highest value of Max Immelmann and its armaments, because it's definitely relying on like dot damage over time, and this Max Immelmann is absolutely good in this, so you should utilize it in that particular way. Now in this case, I want to showcase you a bit of a bad thing that I did. I tried to basically didn't bypass some of the AA. Like I should be dropping it around 3.5 or 4 kilometers. Instead I did exactly like a bit longer, like AA aura, and that's why Stalingrad actually shot down some of my planes with the defensive AA up and running. And this is the reason why I have lost quite a lot of planes during the first attack run, which you should not do at all. Like it's not worth it to do that, and this is something to keep in mind. And the thing about the skip bombers of the Max Immelmann, that they come across the target like very, very quickly, and you can actually do pretty decent damage with them on the battleships over time. And in this case, I'm actually trying to spot the Stalingrad as well for the Sherman, and you can see my spotting damage is already up to 100k, which is kind of insane. And now here, I might try to go and drop the Atatara, since Atatara is pretty much easier ship to deal with. Like Atatara has really bad AA, and in this case Sherman got spotted, and I'm gonna be trying to use skip bombers as for my advantage. And you can see that I have used all the skips necessary, and now I got all the 3 penetrations on this Atatara, and bypassing some of the AA as well, which you should do because Max Immelmann doesn't have a lot of HP on these planes. If you do it correctly, you can actually get 2 strikes no matter what, even sometimes 3 strikes on a battleship. And in this case, Atatara just like the Yamato did the same mistake, which is not really good. But anyways, enemy team is just doing some of these things, which is hilarious to watch. Whenever I watch my replay, I just see that it's funny. But anyways, I'm just gonna go and drop the Tatara again. And this is what the role of Max Immelmann generally is. If you are looking to get a coal ship like Max Immelmann, I mean, it's really a lot much more suited to be in division. Like if you have division mates and you want to play Max Immelmann, I think it's really good, because then you can counter heavy ships like Stalingrad or Yamatos and Tatara with these skip bombers and torpedo bombers, while leaving the DDs to your teammates if they are coming up with some decent like gunboat destroyer. And in this case, I actually have realized that there is Sherman and Stalingrad which having decent AA, so I didn't go and drop them. I just go straight for the Yamato. Yamato obviously have a notoriously like really bad AA, to be honest, for T10, and dropping him is probably the easiest thing to do, and that's what I exactly did. And I'm trying to drop the Yamato as good as possible, and he basically eaten all torpedoes and I got a flood. Now I can just send another strike, because again Yamato doesn't have really good AA. Torpedo arming distance of these torpedo bombers is also pretty good, but again you have to keep one thing in mind, that they have this very wide spread. So if you don't get a proper broadside like I didn't get on the Yamato, you will definitely going to not get a full 4 torpedo hits. But still, it's just 114k damage in just almost like 13 minutes left in the game, and that seems to be pretty insane. Now here, as I said, it's very strong against heavy cruisers and battleships, and Yamato, the Stalingrad actually trying to push a bit too much hard, and Sherman absolutely needs some support. Now here in this case, I skip on a very bad angle, and I didn't even manage to get a single bomb hit. This is what you should not do whenever you're trying to play Max Immelmann. Instead, now you will see the power of these skip bombers, that if you land them perfectly, you can get like all 4 skip bomb hits, and you can actually deal against these Stalingrad effectively. Now here in this case, I'm just gonna get to the 1 skip, and look at that damage. Like I did like all 4 skip bombs hit, and I think I did like almost 13k damage in just a single drop. That is the power of Max Immelmann. Like these skip bombers have really good damage, and you can basically sort of aim on the areas where you will eventually going to get penetration, which will eventually give you a lot much more rewarding hits. Now here in this case, kill the Stalingrad, almost did 129k damage, and still my spotting damage is high, since these planes are pretty fast. Like, to be honest, it's just really good. Like these planes having this very small time to basically go and get to the target basically means that you can basically get to the target very quickly, even though your hull itself or the carrier itself is too far away. Now in this case, carrier actually did put the plane for the Venom, which is actually the smart move, to be honest. And then I have to leave him because I cannot drop him. Otherwise, I would have tried to actually, try to basically drop this Venom and maybe get a 1 torpedo hit. I mean, if he does a mistake. Although a good destroyer player generally doesn't do that. But here again, if you didn't get the broadside, you're not going to get a lot of torpedo hits. And I was lucky enough to get a 1 torpedo hit on the Schlieffen, and that was actually a flood. Now in this case, well, Sherman is actually definitely working well and using its defensive AA for the cover of Schlieffen, which actually is a right move. And this kind of limited me to basically not get a good drop on the Schlieffen, and that's what happened actually. And I didn't manage to do anything. Now here in this case, I will try to pull my CV back from the from the area, from the B1, and I will try to get into the A cap myself, because the game seems to be looking a bit uncomfortable in terms of our numbers and the time remaining. So what we have to do is to basically kill the Schlieffen. And here there is a druid that I can particularly go and target. I can drop also the Schlieffen and also even go for the Sherman. But against destroyers, just like I said, it's really not going to work well. And you're really a good chance of delivering strikes to destroyer is that if they are sort of very much diverted in terms of their attention, which you will eventually find out that there is a druid that will be a victim to these skip bombers. Now in this case, I was thinking of dropping to Schlieffen, but Schlieffen is angling in towards my skip bombers, which means I will not going to get decent angle. So I've decided there's a druid that I can potentially go and drop, and there will be a good situation. Just like I said, if you get a good particularly a time where you can actually manage to see a diverted destroyer towards our teammates, you can actually go and drop this guy, and you can help to kill this guy easily because he's pretty much diverted by getting attention from the other players, which is really nice. And in this case, I'm trying to drop the Sherman, but eventually he will die as well. So I just didn't do that, and now I have one strike at least left for either the Schlieffen or maybe the Benham that is also around the B cap, and I'm not sure where it is, but I have decided to just go for the flow with the flow and just drop the Schlieffen. Now remember, in the case of Max Immelmann, if you have these sort of areas where the ship is in the middle of island or the island is there for a cover, the dropping capability of Max Immelmann gets a lot limited because you cannot even skip onto the target, and this kind of makes it a bit of a weakness, I would say, for Max Immelmann. So try not to drop on particularly ships like around the islands as cover, and you will be just fine. Now here in this case, I know that Schlieffen is pretty low, and I have to basically kill this guy because he's wrecking havoc with its secondaries. So again, he's having 21,000 HP, and if I get a decent drop right now, I eventually will be able to kill him on time. Now here, the fear for the Sherman is that he's definitely pretty low, and if he gets into the hydro, he will die, but I helped him right now, and I basically able to help him to kill the Schlieffen on time. So now we have not a whole lot of ships left. The enemy team have 4 ships, including 2 battleships, and I'm not sure what the Tara and Colombo are doing on the IJ line, but well, this Colombo finally realizes that we have to push, and now I have 1 torpedo strike left that I can go against Colombo, but I'm not sure if he's gonna smoke up. I mean, Colombo has at least one thing going for it, that he can actually smoke up, but again, Malta put the plane, and that basically becomes a bit of a weakness that I cannot actually able to get a broadside. I actually have to go all the way towards the left side of the Colombo and actually able to drop this guy. Now here in this case, I spot the Benham, which is very nice, and I think I might go and drop this guy, but no, I didn't did that. It's my replay, so I don't exactly remember that whether I drop on the Benham or the Colombo. But I think I just spotted the Benham, killed this guy. It was a very lucky spotting on the Benham, and now I have Colombo with almost 12,000 HP, which I'm sure of that if he's moving like this, which he does, 3 torpedo hits will be enough to kill this guy, which is exactly what happened. Now here in this case, Badatara is only the guy remaining, including the Malta, and I have gotten 4 kills. Like, target selection in a carrier is one of the most important things that you should do, and if you're good in target selection, if you know particularly some decent AA parameters of a particular ship, if you know that this ship is not the best to drop on, this ship is really good to drop on and get a lot of value, you can actually get a lot better in carriers if you are looking to do. In this case, again, I'm dropping this Atatara, and Atatara again have almost like 9,000 HP remaining. I'm not sure whether I'm going to get all the skip bombs hit. I did get all the skip bombs, and he actually able to kill our Sherman, that's my division mate, and he having pretty low HP. Now, I am quite sure that Atatara will be killed by Yamato, which is pretty unfortunate because that's basically denying my Kraken. Yamato literally does that. But now we have only the Malta remaining, and the game is pretty much about to end. And if you ask me whether you should buy Max Immelmann or not, well, it is definitely a good ship if you like to farm a lot of damage. I mean, if you like to basically farm on battleships and heavy cruisers while staying in a division in randoms, and your team and relying on your destroyers to basically help win the game by killing other destroyers, I think Max Immelmann is really good. Since I definitely feel that skip bombers are a bit lacking in taking on destroyers. I mean, sometimes you can get luckier, and sometimes destroyer might show you broadside, but once they are angled, you will have a really hard time taking on DDs in Max Immelmann, and I can assure that. And that's the reason why it's certainly a bit weird in terms of winning games if you are playing solo, but in division, oh boy, it's really good. Now in this case, you can see Malta is slightly angled, turning out, but if you have a decent angle on him, and if you get all the, skip bomber strikes, I almost did almost 14,000 damage in just one drop, which is really nice. It does hit him hard, and the game is actually about to end. I might not be able to land a single strike on the Malta because the time is going to be over. But here, it's also one more thing that I want to showcase you is if you have a last gasp on a Max Immelmann or any particular other carrier which has a lot of speed, and I mean you have last attack run with a heal ready, this is particularly useful on heals. This last attack run you can use against any ship if you want to come and go and attack fast, and then you can just pop the heal and you can drop while using the heal, and your last quadrant not only gives you extra speed, but also you able to get towards the target without losing planes and drop him easily. And I exactly did that. This is something which I want to showcase you, and that's basically the game. Almost did 194 damage, and it's pretty decent game in Max Immelmann, I must say. But still, if I didn't done much against destroyers, I'm definitely expecting that I might not going to get top of the scoreboard in terms of basic speed. But let's see. In victory, I have scored almost a million credits, which is pretty nice. 194k damage. Almost got my Kraken, Confederate, Combat Scout, almost at 174k spotting damage, and then I have got 4 kills. 7 planes shot down. Pretty nice game overall. And the team score is 2.2k base XP almost. My Sherman did play it well. If I have a possibility of complimenting him, I would have definitely complimented, but you have clearly seen this game could be pretty much complicated and difficult if not for the Sherman, and that's the reason why Max Immelmann is better when you are playing with your division mates against destroyers, especially a lot of destroyers in the enemy team. So I hope you liked the video, and if you do, please like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you into the next one. Peace out.